You ever have one of those moments where you walk into the shop expecting a finished masterpiece, but instead, it looks like your 3D printer tried to bake a lasagna and gave up halfway through?
I take it that's what I'm looking at right now? That black blob in your hand?
This was supposed to be a custom mounting bracket for the drill press. I used ABS because I wanted it tough, but I forgot that ABS has a personality like a toddler in a grocery store. If it gets even a tiny bit chilly, it throws a tantrum and curls up at the edges. Look at that warp. It's got more curve than a rocking chair runner.
And this is exactly why we're doing this today. Welcome to the Tiger Den podcast. I'm Alex, and with me is Tiger, who is currently mourning a bracket. Today, we are doing the deep dive everyone asks for, the big three of 3D printing filaments: PLA, PETG, and the heartbreaker itself, ABS.
It's a love guanxi, Alex. Mostly frustration. But when it works, it's magic. But that's the trick. Picking the right plastic for the job so you aren't standing there at Tua Scam wondering where your life went wrong while scraping melted cornstarch off a glass bed.
Let's start with the gateway drug, PLA, polylactic acid. Every beginner starts here. It's the set it and forget it filament, right?
It really is the old reliable. It's made from fermented plant starch, usually corn or sugar cane, so it smells like a pancake house when it's printing instead of a chemical factory. The thing about PLA is that it's incredibly stiff. People think biodegradable means weak, but PLA actually has a higher tensile strength than ABS. It doesn't stretch. It just holds its ground until it finally decides to snap like a dry twig.
I remember you printed that unbreakable phone stand out of PLA last year.
Oh, don't bring that up. It was beautiful. Tight tolerances, crisp corners. Then I left it in the truck on a Tuesday in July. I came back and it looked like a Salvador Dali painting. PLA's glass transition temperature is only about 60 degrees Celsius. That's the point where it stops being a solid and starts thinking about becoming a liquid. In a hot car, PLA is basically glorified saltwater taffy.
So PLA is for the pretty stuff, the prototypes, the models on your desk, the things that stay indoors and don't have to work for a living?
Mostly, yeah. If you're checking if a part fits or you're making a jig for the workshop that's going to sit on a cool concrete floor, PLA is king. It doesn't warp, it sticks to the bed like it's glued there, and the surface finish is usually the cleanest you'll get. But if that part is going anywhere near an engine or a sunny window, keep walking.
Okay, so if PLA is the finesse material, let's talk about the bruiser, ABS, the stuff Legos are made of. Why is it so hard to print if it's so common in the real world?
Because your home printer isn't an industrial injection molding machine. A BS, acrylonitrile butadienostyrene, is incredible because it's tough and it handles heat way better than PLA. It's got this give to it. If you hit it with a hammer, it might dent or deform, but it won't shatter into a million pieces like PLA.
But it smells.
Like a burning tire fire in a small closet. You really need a dedicated space or an enclosure for it. But the real headache isn't the smell, it's the shrinkage. A BS shrinks as it cools. If the air in your room is 70 degrees and the nozzle is 240, those bottom layers are going to try to pull away from the bed like they're trying to escape a crime scene. That's why you see guys building heated chambers out of literal cardboard boxes just to keep the heat in.
It sounds like a lot of work for a bracket, Tiger. Is there a middle ground? A Goldilocks filament?
That's where PETG comes in. Polyethylene terephthalate glycol. It's the stuff your soda bottles are made of, but with glycol added so it doesn't crystallize and get brittle. PETG is the peace treaty between PLA and ABS.
I've heard people call it the everything filament. Is it actually that good, or is it just okay at everything?
It's a specialist that acts like a generalist. It's got the heat resistance that's good enough for most outdoor stuff. It won't melt in your car. It's incredibly sticky, which is great for layer strength, meaning the part won't split apart along the lines. But, and there's always a but in the shop, it's stringy.
Like spider webs?
Exactly. If your retraction settings aren't dialed in, your print looks like it was attacked by a very industrious spider, and it's hygroscopic. It drinks water from the air. If you leave a roll of PETG out on a humid afternoon, the next time you print with it, it'll sizzle and pop in the nozzle like bacon grease. You end up with bubbles in your part and a surface that looks like it has teenage acne.
Teenage acne plastic. Great marketing, Tiger. So if I'm a listener and I'm looking at a project, say a replacement handle for a lawnmower, how do I choose?
Well, let's walk through the checklist. First, where's it going? If it's outside, PLA is out. UV light and heat will kill it in a month. So now we're looking at PETG versus ABS.
And the lawnmower vibrates a lot.
Right, vibration means we need impact resistance. A BS is the professional choice there because it can take a beating and it's lighter than the others. But if you don't have a printer with a heated enclosure, you're going to fight that ABS part every inch of the way. PETG is usually the real-world winner for most makers because it's tough enough, easy enough to print on a basic machine, and it's chemically resistant. You spill a little gas or oil on PETG and it just shrugs it off. And
What about those snap fit parts, like a battery cover that has to click into place?
oh, don't use PLA for that. You'll click it once, it'll sound great, and then the tab will just snap off because PLA has zero memory. It doesn't want to bend, it wants to be a statue. A BS or PETG will actually flex and spring back.
Point proven. So let's talk about the hidden costs. Not the price of the spool, because they're all around 20 or 25 bucks, but the cost to your sanity.
Sanity is the most expensive thing in my shop. PLA is the cheapest for your brain. You hit print, you go have a sandwich, you come back, and there's a part.
PETG is the I need to dry my filament cost?
Yeah, you need a dry box or a food dehydrator, and you have to clean your bed religiously. PETG sticks too well sometimes. I've seen it take a literal chunk of glass out of a printer bed because the bond was stronger than the glass itself. You actually have to use a release agent, like a glue stick or hairspray, not to make it stick, but to make sure you can get it off when it's done. It's like putting grease on a cake pan.
And ABS is the I need to build a house for my printer cost.
And maybe a vent to the outside. But here's the secret weapon of ABS, acetone. You can take a brush with a little nail polish remover, rub it on a rough ABS part, and it melts the surface smooth. You can make an ABS print look like it was injection molded in a factory. You can't do that with PLA or PETG without some really nasty specialized chemicals.
That's a game changer for the cosplay folks or people making consumer products.
It really is. It turns a 3D print into a finished part. But you've got to respect the process. It's easy to overdo it and turn your detailed carving into a half-melted candle.
Okay, let's summarize for the folks at home. Give me the one-sentence vibe for each.
PLA is your draftsman. It's precise, it's easy to talk to, but it can't handle the heat of the real world.
PETG.
That's your field tech. It's a little messy, it's got some strings attached, but it'll survive a rainstorm and won't break when things get bumpy.
And ABS?
A BS is the old school mechanic. Moody, hard to work with, requires a controlled environment, but it's the only one you want under the hood of a car when the going gets tough.
I think I'm starting to get why you have 15 different spools of gray plastic on that shelf. They aren't just gray, are they?
My wife calls it the wall of indecision, but each one is a different tool. You wouldn't use a framing hammer to set a tiny brass finishing nail, and you shouldn't use PLA to fix a broken handle on your dishwasher.
So, what happened to the bracket? Are you going to try ABS again, or are you switching to Field Tech PETG?
I'm going to go with PETG. I've reached the age where I'd rather spend 10 minutes cleaning spider webs off a part than 3 hours trying to convince ABS to just stay flat. I'm choosing my battles, Alex.
A wise craftsman knows when to stop fighting the material.
Exactly. The material always wins anyway. You just have to decide how much skin you want to lose in the process.
That's our show for today. Before you hit buy on that next spool, think about where your part is going to live. Is it a desk toy or a tool?
And whatever you do, keep your filament dry and your bed level. The shop is a cruel teacher, but the lessons are worth the tuition. We'll see you next time in the den.